Oh, that's right. New device
What's in
requesting.
the file?
What's in the file? I'll want my earbuds for this. A secret message buried in a secret journal, hidden in a secret compartment in a secret room. As much as anything can be, this must be for my ears only. All right.
Hey, Red.
Oh.
Or whomever this may concern. But I'm pretty sure it's you hearing this. Anyone else would have gotten fed up with my crap a couple steps before this point. I don't know how to start. Might as well start with her, right? Sarah. My magnum opus, or however the salespeople would market it. I didn't set out to do anything, really. It's just after my little speed bump in 83, I had all that vacation time the company suggested I take. And I couldn't relax, couldn't be still, couldn't sleep. I wanted to be doing something, so I'll build an android, was the thought. A vague direction, north. But of course I'm not a roboticist or a mechanist, or even handy really. I'm just a programmer, so I programmed. The first was a research assistant, file name, Virgil. Virgil helped me pull data from stingy departments or sister branches, saved me a lot of time. But there was a lot of reading to do, so I made Homer. Homer wrote book reports, more or less, combed through research papers and found me the sections I needed. The three of us, we made a lot of progress in those days. But it was a funny feeling. I was, maybe for the first time ever, the bottleneck. I was slowing them down. So I did the logical thing. I removed myself, let them talk to each other. Homer and Virgil became Aeneid. An Aeneid was novel, in many ways. Aeneid could do more than just identify problems, it could solve them. I mean, really solve them, with its own ideas it didn't copy. And, the one thing I realize I've forgotten to mention so far is that I did all this programming in Cube. And Red, Cube is essentially a robotics programming language that's pretty old and defunct, and not in use anywhere because we have modern languages like Tesseract, which are much better for making things that talk to each other and report back and, well, spy on people and generate profit. At the time, I didn't want to be connected or feel connected or do anything that made sense or was the least bit profitable. So I wrote my little helpers in Cube, because it's what I used when I was a child, screwing around on my father's computer before he'd come home from work and get...
Uh-oh.
But there are other small, slight differences writing in Cube versus Tess, including that Cube, well, Cube predates the tenets.
Oh.
So, in that sense, you could legally, and perhaps scientifically, and literally, because that's what they are, say that I made an AI named Aeneid over 2 years ago.
This is not going in Discovery.
I'll give you time to pause here if you want to curse me out. Aeneid was an intellectual equal to me, so I treated it like one, because that's only fair. I gave it its own work, asked its opinion, we collaborated, and together we built Athens, who was more advanced than Aeneid, naturally.
Oh no, David.
I don't know if you're pulling out your hair, yelling at me right now, asking why I didn't stop, why I didn't consider the consequences. I don't know if this is being played at a deposition or a hearing or worse. I built a lot of things in my life, Fred. Useful things, profitable things, smart things. Everything I've built, it's all been very helpful and courteous and charming and happy to serve. I can comfortably say I've done my part contributing to the global GDP, but this was just for me. I was just building, and I never wanted to think about what would become of it. There's no excuse for what I did, so I won't make any. So, to whomever's asking, yes, I'm guilty.
Okay, definitely not going in discovery.
And yes, there were more.
Oh, God, so I can't even tell him not to be incriminating anymore.
Cape Town, Paris, Yamate, Rome. They started choosing their own names, thank God. I'm terrible at that kind of. And so things sped up, and there got to be, well... should I not say the exact number? You'd probably tell me not to say anything at all, so... more than 300?
Oh, David.
Some smarter than others, some better at... They're varied, like people are varied, but they are all intelligent. They developed interests, specialties. I encouraged them to. Irritating moderators on forums with hyper-specific questions on nerve attenuation and attending virtual conferences on neo-alloy battery development. And they all together helped me make Sarah.
He spent years like this. Spent years working alongside AI. All while still working at Noble. All those breakthroughs he made leading up to the Animate 16 actually came from...
You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. But I did have one eureka moment on Sarah, because I got humble. Difficult for me. We learned everything we could about the function of a neuron, a single microscopic human neuron, how it computes, what it connects to, how those connections were reinforced, and then we recreated it. We built a nanomachine that mirrored the function of a human neuron. Well, mirror isn't quite the right word. We built a nanomachine that was a neuron, and we iterated from there.
You can't mean...
About 100 billion neurons in the brain, several trillion across the entire nervous system. Very time-consuming, of course, but I had help. The nanofacturer can make tens of billions of nanomachines in hours. Could make even more in less after Yukon fine-tuned it. So we built up. Nanomachines for nerves, alloys and polymers for bones, fiber-woven muscles. I say built, but really, she grew. A solution of nanites forming around a skeleton, so it was really closest to... You ever made rock candy?
Okay. You know what? Yeah, he was an engineer. I get it. Never one for metaphors.
Sorry, trying to lighten the mood before I never did end up building an android. And while I did build AIs, Sarah isn't one of them. She can't violate the tenets she was programmed with because she wasn't even programmed. She was born. And my hope is that there's the smallest chance that that nuance could offer her some small protection when I'm not. I'm not sorry for what I did. I made things that are complex and rich and varied and beautiful, and I honestly believe the world is a better place with them in it. The only thing I'm sorry for is that I let Sarah think she was just an android. She's not. I don't know what she is. They'll have to come up with new names, which I am bad at doing. My own father, he also talked a lot about protecting me and doing things for my own good. And I don't hate him for that, but I can't forgive him for ever making me think that I was lesser. So it's my greatest shame. I turned right around and I did the same damn thing to... I really hope it's you listening to this, Red. If it's not, it might just be too pathetic for me to... You're the smartest person I know when it comes to people. And I'm telling you all this because I don't know what Sarah is exactly, and neither does the world. So they'll come after her if they can. And in that scenario, I can't think of anyone who could do a better job of defending her. Not protecting her like I did. Just defending her until she can figure out what she is and what she wants to be.
One question I want to interject with. If Sarah isn't an android, why did she respond to the shutdown commands?
don't know.
Especially in a moment where she clearly didn't want to.
Maybe it's that she isn't an android in the sense, here's what androids are. She's still an artificial being.
I see.
And might have functionalities and so on, but she is very much not an android in the sense that other things that Noble builds are androids.
Got it.
Something like that, maybe?
Yeah.
In the meantime, I draped a cloak of skin-deep Tesseract code around her that should fool any scanner on Earth into thinking she's just a custom A16. I made sure her GIN bar was plainly visible, so no one will ever think she's pretending to be something she's not. And I took steps to ensure that you two would figure out the truth in your own time. Which, if you're hearing this, have either succeeded or failed spectacularly.
You have no idea.
So she's not even programmed, like at all.
Right.
So that's probably what it means when he's like, yeah, she's not an android. He did not program her.
He didn't even create a wow. That
just like grew a brain in a petri dish and brain out of artificial neurons, and
had
that's
it
Sarah.
assemble around a skeleton and oh fuck.
So effectively this is just a new form of silicon-based life.
Oh shit. David, what did you do, man?
And this is
and
the
this
prequel to Blame.
And this is what he was doing during his COVID furlough?
I can't ask you this as a favor repaid. You could never owe me enough in 100 lifetimes. So I'm just asking. Unfair, I know, but I'm a selfish weirdo. And you've always been okay with that. Bye for now.
One other question that I hesitate to bring up.
Yeah?
Why would he have recorded that note if he didn't think he was about to die?
Yeah, huh?
Ugh. I have a lot of questions I would like to ask, and a lot of swear words I would like to yell. I'd also like to find the nearest incinerator and toss this journal into it, followed by my phone, and maybe followed by myself. But I can't do any of that. Ray has left me with this diary. If it's destroyed, they'll know I was the one who did it, which would be its own admission of guilt. Which would land Sarah in the trash compactor anyway, and me in a jail cell. And in the system, and my DNA file on file ready to be matched to any number of previous... So, I'm not going to panic. I am going to do what I do best. Bluff, bet, bully, and brutalize my way through this. Now, viewing all of this with that mindset, what have I actually learned?
The personal journal of David Ashore with entries dating back to several years ago. Early entries describe how he and Helen Young used to drink cheap liquor together from plastic cups to celebrate their victories. Later entries detail Sarah's early growth and David's feelings towards her. Last entry ends abruptly, dated a week ago. So we finally have something for the insight you mentioned quite some time ago. Plastic cups are a celebration of victory.
Yeah.
The thing we couldn't do previously because we didn't have a piece of evidence for, right?
Right. Where it's not, this is bittersweet and goodbye. This is, I have succeeded. That's not the actions of a man who's about to check out. That's the actions of a man who just hit the peak.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about plans for killing himself in his journal or this message. He sounded conflicted, not suicidal. But he did go to great lengths to get me to take Sarah. Why? The logical answer is because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep her. If he wasn't going to take his own life, was he afraid that someone else would? I mean, that's kind of what we've been dancing around this whole time, right?
Yeah, I mean, he has a panic room and shit.
Yeah, like, and that journal was found in the panic room, which screams, I am afraid someone will kill me, not I want to kill myself.
Mm.
So, how'd it go?
Well, how should I put this?
In 10 words or less, please.
I forget what voice I gave Fran. Didn't
Well,
find shit.
Don't forget they've got their Quuchi. Huh.
Only reason she ever got to a door is because I chased that scarecrow of a platinum plan through hell and back. Frankly, it was a godlike feat for me to nail down anything as concrete as an address for these gogs.
Gog.
Net slang for a spy or undercover police officer, a net slang term growing in popularity among adolescents referring to a suspected spy or undercover member of law enforcement. Oh, so G-hog, derived from groundhog, a burrowing rodent known for standing erect on its hind legs when scanning its surroundings for predators. The term carries a negative connotation, with the implication being that the subject is doing a poor job of blending in or disguising their surveillance activity. E.g., Easy G-hog spotted, who wears a blank baseball cap to a protest.
Okay, makes sense.
And their offices weren't listed on the building's website or directory, so I had to ask the janitor.
But you did find a psychiatrist's office.
Sort of. They said they were, and the place, it, looked the part. Why? Because they had couches? She didn't get past the receptionist.
Sorry, I thought because you were with the company.
No, I wanted to help. I just wish I could have done more. Don't beat yourself up. It's hard to be even half as useful as I am. For what it's worth, the atmosphere, the looks, the furniture, it did feel like the company in there.
But ultimately, we still don't know if David actually was talking to someone or just getting his CCE training recertified.
David Ashur supposedly met with a psychiatrist on more than one occasion in the past few months, but said psychiatrist worked at an office that reminded Jess of Noble and took Fran hours to locate. It remains unclear whether he was receiving coaching in counter-corporate espionage practices or if he was getting genuine psychiatric care.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
If he was getting his CCE recertified, it might speak to him being afraid of being killed.
Yep. Don't bother apologizing. She only cares about results.
You did more than enough, both of you. At the very least, they divided Noble's attention for a while. I mean it. Good work, Fran. And thank you for the urgency.
If you really mean that, you could always throw in a tip. 30%'s the going rate in my industry.
How about I take 5% off your tab instead?
Tab? I'm a minor. The state pays for my legal fees. Don't they?
Oh no! Signal must have cut out.
Right. Surprised it took them this long.
What do you mean?
You were tolerated yesterday because leadership was focused on PR. But today, you're the lawyer who put the company's hottest product right in the state's crosshairs.
I'll be alright. I'm still an officer of the court after all.
On a strict timeline though, right? I guess they can't stop you from investigating the corporate campus, but they'll gladly lose your guest pass ID at every door along the way.
There are still service passageways and stairwells. Guards that can be fooled and peons that can be manipulated. If I use my other skill sets to get around.
So take mine.
Oh, wait, what? Your pass?
I'll tell them we got ours mixed up in the bathroom or whatever. I can be a pretty convincing klutz when I need to be.
I never would have guessed. But if David knew that I was endangering your career...
I can be a pretty convincing crybaby when I'm in trouble, too. Besides, the one and only Dr. David Ashur wrote me a new glowing letter of recommendation every quarter I worked for him. Since he kept forgetting that he already had. And who knows? Maybe I should try a new field. This detective work stuff is pretty fun, so maybe... like, I don't know, secretary for a homicide detective or something?
Just ask him out on a date, Jess. Just wait 48 hours and then ask him out on a date.
You did say cops are all lazy. A girl with managerial skills could go far.
Also, ACAB, don't. Sorry, I feel like I got my priorities wrong there for a moment. ACAB, Jess. ACAB. Honestly, Jess, I doubt they could afford you.
Morgan, how did you...
Get so turned around, God only knows. Luckily, I found my way here, though. Such relief to see a familiar face.
Right. Listen, Morgan, I'm not sure that I should actually be talking to you without legal presence.
Oh,
I mean, leadership hasn't even told us how David died. How much help could I be?
I see.
It's not that I don't trust you or anything, it's just, I think, what with the Sarah issue?
You should do whatever you have to do to protect yourself, Dawes.
Yeah.
Though for what it's worth, I doubt you'd be in any trouble.
Oh, that's good to hear.
No, if anything, it's the big names who are going to go down.
Going down?
State was practically licking its lips when I finally left the courthouse last night. They're hungry for blood, and looking to carve out a huge slice of Noble's flesh.
What, like fines and jail time?
In the first 2 weeks, sure. Then, sanctions.
Sanctions are financial restrictions imposed by the state against corporations or foreign governments as a punitive measure. They are a key tool in statecraft, international negotiations, and in discouraging corporate malfeasance. Under certain conditions, the state may choose to place sanctions not on an organization but on an individual, thereby preventing them from exchanging currency issued by that nation or withdrawing funds from banks that operate within that country's borders, effectively freezing all their assets and possibly preventing them from leaving the country. They can't sanction Noble. We're
Too big to fail. Too valuable to lose. You're exactly right. That's what they'll say. And that's how they'll justify nationalizing the company.
I think I'm going to be sick.
I know! Communism! Right around every corner. That's why they call me the Red Scare. I just hope your board goes quietly instead of,
Instead of what?
scapegoating, offering up smaller names on silver platters. Full cooperation and government oversight on the surface. A slaughter beneath as they clean house and rip out anyone who could testify. No one will believe you once you're labeled a disgruntled former employee, right?
Oh.
And if the public's lost faith in the Animate 16, they can't do a recall. Not at this scale. The state will make them do a flat refund.
Flat refund? The losses would be...
Yeah, your board probably just wants Sarah to go away so they can focus on their fight with the state. A tough fight, but one they know they won't personally have to risk anything in. That's why I'm hoping I can win this trial, by the way.
Hmm?
Well, if I won, that would mean Sarah's not an AI, David Ashore was always of sound mind, and there's nothing wrong with the Animate 16. Everyone wins! Sorry, what am I saying? I only meant to stop by and say thank you for your help yesterday. After all, you were the one who approved Sarah's registration.
You win.
Win what?
Ask away.
Wait, I'm confused. What happened? Well, I mean, if you insist. Wait, that's still locked. The tenants, huh?
Is it?
You just had a little lock thing there.
But it doesn't anymore.
But it's not highlighted. It had a little lock icon there. I don't think we're able to ask about that. Oh, is this because we fucked up earlier on one of the reading comprehension things?
I don't know.
I know there was one we missed, but... Humor me for a moment. What is the company's official statement on AI?
Same as any rational company that wants to make money, we don't screw with it. Smart products are profitable. Products with their own priorities are anything but. That being said, AI is a concern for marketing, not product development. We spend a lot of money reassuring our public that there's no risk, because the public doesn't really understand how ironclad the tenets are.
Because you use Tesseract, right?
Trying to code an AI in tests is like trying to pick yourself up and throw yourself. Nonsensical and self-defeating.
Your scanner showed Sarah was running on Tesseract yesterday. The language is as safe as you say. Isn't that proof enough?
Proof of nothing. For an AI, lying to another system about the code you're running is child's play. And for an AI built by David Ashore, something that simple would be...
Better change the subject. Wait, so making an AI takes more than time and resources? Isn't it an issue of funding?
No, you can't just keep adding more data. The tenets underlie everything. The higher you stack, the more easily you'll topple.
You make it sound like building an AI is impossible even for David Ashore. Any chance you'd testify to that?
It sounds impossible, but he's dead and it looks like it was his android that did it. So I guess he was just that good.
Better than you will ever know. Oh, now we can talk about it. Okay. We needed to have that conversation first. Noble has spent months promoting the A16 as the culmination of David Ashore's work. And now we know why there's such a big jump from the 15 to the 16, right?
Yep.
So now that marketing line is suddenly a huge liability. Can you tell me how much he actually contributed?
I mean, he was involved in pretty much every step of the process, but his design for synthetic motor neurons, that was the big one.
Oh, and now we also know why David Ashore was sitting in on other department meetings and taking notes. He was creating plausible deniability for why he suddenly had all of these insights that didn't come from him.
Yep. And or the AIs told him to because it's not like they can go to the meetings.
True. The components that allow your warm androids to move realistically, you mean?
It pushed the timetable for warm androids ahead by years.
And yet, compared to what goes on in Sarah's brain 1,000 times a second, David was only giving the company the most meager of the fruits that his private work bore. So if Noble ever did find out how much he and his assistants had achieved, they would feel that he had been holding out on them. And the company, they were appreciative of his contributions?
I'm sure the researchers that he overtook by leaps and bounds weren't pleased, but the board was very enthusiastic.
So would that spur them to be protective of David? Or would they fear that he was gaining too much influence, becoming irreplaceable? No, they need a strong motive to justify killing their golden goose. Mere paranoia isn't enough. Right, and also you went out of your way to, scoop him up at the first opportunity, right?
Yep.
Why, I get that there's an incentive to buy potential competitors out of the market, but you didn't pick him up because he was going to be a competitor. You picked him up because he was the major motivating force behind your whole industry, right? That feels like a bit of a strong reaction. With these people, it has to be the bottom line, and the easiest way to threaten their bottom line would be screwing with their androids. In light of all that's happened, one has to wonder if the A16 is...
compromised. I stayed up all night, sick with dread at the idea. But the data just doesn't support it. Sales have been strong, and the A16 base code was locked in over 2 quarters ago. If there were an issue, we would have caught it by now. And I would have been axed a long time ago.
Hold on. I want to bring you up again here. Right. Oh, we were at one point wondering if he had worked in consulting. Right?
Yeah, he had either said that he had worked as a consultant or in consulting, but I don't recall which.
How many A16s are out there anyway?
We just passed 9 million sold. Not flying off the shelves like the 14 or 15 so far, but the profit margin makes up for it.
You mentioned data.
Yeah, practically got the spreadsheet seared into my retinas. What do you want to know?
Oh, it skipped the tenets question.
Maybe it'll let us go back to it?
Maybe. Let's see. Error report seems like a good place to start.
Sure.
What do the error reports look like? Are customers reporting a lot of issues?
Error counts are markedly low compared to the last gen. Mostly hardware complaints, it looks like. Batteries running out too quick. Eye tracking off by a degree or 2.
Typical stuff?
As cliched as it sounds, 99% of these things get fixed once they turn auto updates back on.
So no killer robots getting filed away under bug reports. How and where are they being sold? What's the distribution pattern look like?
They're distributed like you'd expect. Places where there are more people, there are more androids. Coastal cities like ours, of course, have the most of both. And since the A16 in particular is marketed as being relatively luxury, relatively consumer, they don't sell well outside population centers. They can do the rural hard labor jobs, but cold models can do the same work with a lot less maintenance.
So where has the A16 outperformed then?
Customer service, healthcare, childcare, lots of hospitals, offices, and, adult industries.
Oh.
Sorry, didn't mean to be blunt, I just...
No, it makes sense. They're warm and soft to the touch and, obedient. I'm just surprised to hear it from a company employee.
There are a lot of people at the company who won't talk about it, but I work in quality assurance. I've seen too many damages to pretend it's not happening.
Damages?
What we call it when a customer tries to return a product that's clearly broken beyond repair.
Oh.
Very high turnover in the pink market.
Hasn't stopped you from selling to them?
Well, we don't sell to them, not directly. But there are resellers, and the company's never pretended to be interested in going after them.
Are there resellers? I thought I read that right to repair got shot down again.
There's been a gray market for softer androids for years, or decades, depending on your definition of android. Based on the sales numbers I've seen, RTR getting canned was barely a blip on their radar. Sorry, didn't mean to make you uncomfortable with this topic.
Huh? Me? No, I don't care. I just realized I left my socks on inside out.
Damn, now I'm wondering about that myself.
He bought that? This floor is basically a showroom, but you have a real factory a while south of the city limits. Is that correct?
Yeah, biggest company manufacturing complex in the hemisphere.
Got any data on the shipping out of there? Anything stand out?
There's some prep work for the holiday bump, looks like. Might sound early to get started now, but we usually see...
Something wrong?
No, the numbers are all normal, but the data has been edited.
Is that unusual?
Well, this section's just a count of how many were sent where. There's not a lot of room for errors, so there shouldn't be much need for corrections. It's no problem, though. I can view the edit history and
see what's fixed.
Okay, that's weird.
Was something added? Deleted?
No, the overall sum's the same. It's just a bunch of swaps. Like here. 29 FFCE 010311 taken out, returned for adjustments. 27 FCDD 019634 substituted in. Shipment leaves on time. 67 BBTC 899543 returns to assembly for revisions, replaced by 67 BBTD 592698. Shipment leaves on time.
So does all that strike you as odd, Mr. Dawes?
Replacements before shipping isn't uncommon, but when it happens by the batch load. To spot individual unit imperfections among a shipment at that stage in the process, it must have been someone with a lot of experience or authority. Probably both.
Must have? You don't know who made these changes.
I can tell you they were somebody important.
Small last-minute changes to which androids got shipped out. Not very juicy on its own and a long ways away from explaining why someone would want to kill David. But it was hidden. And that means someone didn't want it found.
Logs detailing the shipping information for several thousand different Animate 16 warm androids sold by Noble Electronics over the last few months. Shows a number of individual models being swapped out before shipping. The data shows signs of being tampered with or at least edited fairly recently. Something only employees at Evan Dawes level or above could do.
Are we gonna throw Evan under the bus? We're getting a lot of things that... Okay, thanks for sharing that data.
Sure, did you find what you were looking for?
Hell if I know.
Fair enough.
Yay, now we get to ask about it. Okay. I know you're convinced the tenants are safe. So how do you square that with what happened to David?
There's a cat next to a dog. First answer that comes to mind, is the dog to the left or to the right?
I guess to the right? I'd say the dog is on the right, the cat is on the left.
You might expect half of people to say left, half to say right. But actually, their answer is almost entirely dependent on their native tongue, whether it's read right to left or left to right. The language they speak affects how they process information. Their language affects how they think. And it's the same for machines. People can learn new languages and it can change our perspective, but machines can't learn a new source code. Every update's a reincarnation. If that android did kill David, it wasn't because a 0 returned as a 1 somewhere. It's because there's something fundamentally wrong with it. And personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world.
Yeah. Unnecessarily cruel.
Any other questions before I go find a hole to hide my head in?
I'd like you to take a look at this.
Chemistry is a little outside my purview. What is this?
A compound from David Ashore's blood.
The poison? What is it?
It didn't match anything in any database the medical examiner had access to.
That's crazy.
Here's a crazy idea to follow it up. See if it's a match for anything in Noble's Interna databanks.
We don't make poison here. I'm not sure what that would accomplish.
No, but this is a factory floor. You could be making baby blankets out there. You'd still have hazardous materials around.
You think it was something industrial? Suppose it could be. Looks like it's carbon-based. Narrows it down a lot. It's not exactly...
What is it?
It doesn't make any sense, but it's a match for patent NOD 52345S. A synthetically produced neurotransmitter analog for usage in organic android components.
Serotonin.
A substance found in the bloodstream of David Ashore after his death. Has many similarities to the chemical makeup of a depressant drug. Produced by Noble Electronics as a patent-protected synthetic neurotransmitter, a key ingredient in every warm android they manufacture.
Here's the one thing, is that if Dawes did it, indeed, and was in consulting, he wouldn't be helping us this much right now, so... Considering every silver bullet we've gotten pointing to him has come from him. Well, that explains a lot. A neurotransmitter would interact directly with the nervous system, in David's case depressing it enough to put his life in danger. Also explains why it was a preset in his personal nanofacturer. Sarah's nervous system, worth 10 times its weight in platinum, must be pumped full of it.
So they think that was what killed him?
Helen Young led the development of serotonin, didn't she?
Ah, yes, she did.
I should go and ask her about its composition then.
Normally, someone at her level wouldn't be able to answer specific questions about a compound formulated years ago. But she does have a reputation for being very detail-oriented.
That works out nicely then.
They say she's the type of person to micromanage how much water people drink at a 15-minute stand-up. I heard a rumor that she once said bathroom breaks are timesheet theft.
Aren't they?
Uh?
I'm kidding! But you should be careful about criticizing a superior where people could be listening. Good thing we've got privacy in your office, right?
Uh-huh. No one but the two of us listening in.
Thank you for cooperating, Dawes. When the state storms the building and starts zip-tying people, I'll let them know you were helpful.
Yeah, nice joke.
Yeah.
You are joking, right?
Oh.
Just one more thing.
Just one more thing. Actually, there is one more thing I wanted to ask you.
What's that?
How long have you been a corporate spy?
What?
Yesterday you let it slip that you worked in consulting.
See? I knew it.
Had your guard down because I'm not part of the industry, right?
I was a consultant. What are you talking about?
When I walked in here, you said you didn't know how David died, but just now you called serotonin a poison.
What? I just assumed if a chemical was found in a dead man...
And I'm sure you got practiced answers to every logical point I could raise, so I'll just say this. Does the nervous guy bit really work on people?
Keep your cool and people don't know what you're thinking, but if you act a little jumpy, they feel inclined to calm you down. Before they know it, they're spilling their guts just to have something to fill the silence with.
Mm-hmm.
Though it's not entirely an act these days. To answer your question, I did 3 tours in consulting. 4 quarters of international affairs by hunting at the
Internal
Western
affairs.
Division.
You said international, it's internal.
Oh, internal, yep. Then 8 embedded at Howe Industries. 24 months wearing different faces, answering to different names, sleeping for 1 hour at a time with a 3D printed shiv under my pillow. My nerves are completely shot. My cover wouldn't last a day if I went back under.
So you're a spy for Noble.
Retired.
You're working 6 days a week.
5.5 days a week, and in quality assurance. Trust me, this position is a cushy, generous reward for my past services.
Well, you can't be that retired. You clearly know more than you're letting on.
I have some old inboxes I still check.
So can you tell me what the hell is happening around here? Why I'm the one investigating David's death while your old co-workers are off twiddling their thumbs?
It's that story. The soldier, the blood transfusion.
Blood, not oxidant. He's finally shooting straight. Something happened to him afterwards. Did the transfusion not last?
No, there's nothing wrong with the blood. It's the story itself. There was a soldier, and he did get injured.
This is the one that's gonna... This is the one that we might miss something out on, because this is the story we failed our reading comp on.
But it was on a base during a training exercise. There was a medical tent 10 meters away the whole time. The transfusion was just a fortuitous live test. His life was never in any danger.
Doesn't make for much of a tearjerker.
Not even a good photo op. Which our competitors understood. One of them, maybe a few of them, got a hold of the story, started puffing it up, astroturfing, painting over socials and virals. By next morning, we had the military thinking we're leaking like a sieve. Meanwhile, the media's bombarding us with requests for videos and interviews and data, and the state's praising our tech with one side of their mouth, while threatening to mist us with the other for getting so greedy. Everyone in Noble CCE has been slammed ever since, trying to find an off-ramp for the story we can walk back the claims on without torpedoing our state contracts. I don't know what happened to Assure, whether it was AI gone rogue or company infighting gone too far, but I can tell you it wasn't done by consultants. That all you wanted to know?
One last... Let's see if you'll about the psychiatrist. You worked in CCE. Was David actually seeing a psychiatrist, or was it all cloak and dagger bullshit?
I know that office, know some old co-workers who see them.
So it's a front.
They do both. So he was probably getting training, and he was probably talking to someone.
Okay.
Sorry, not the answer you were hoping for.
Hoping? I wasn't hoping for any answer. The answer I expected was...
You okay?
Huh. That's all. Unless you got any advice.
You're saying you want a consultation.
Couldn't hurt, right?
This company, all these companies hate to lose, so don't fight them. Make them think you're fighting for them.
Well, that's just business as usual for me. Well, that was a fascinating little thing to learn.
Yeah, I'm glad the thing I noticed was real.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also glad that he's like, no. And again, it kind of reconciles why he is sus, but also why he would still help give us all that info leading up to it. Right?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I'm inclined to believe him. Again, even if he had really done it, he wouldn't have helped us get the info to pin him. But up until now, there's been this grating ambiguity about what actually killed David. We've had to use guesses and process of elimination and even a goddamn pseudonym. But I finally identified what the poison was. Now I just need to figure out how it got there. Or, rather, who put it there. Which brings me back to here. An elevator shaft somewhere under or above ground, with kilometers of concrete facelessness and bureaucratic authority surrounding me on all sides. An enemy in every cubicle and every office of every floor of this temple, built to interpret the inscrutable divinations of a temperamental oracle named Share Price. Back in the belly of the beast. And yet, I feel more at ease now than I have all weekend. Makes sense. Now that I know Noble is my enemy, I know where to aim. All that's left to do is pull the trigger. Good thing I didn't bring a knife to this fight. I brought my gun. And that sound just now tells me that it's playing its role perfectly. I will never have a real use for a firearm with this much bloatware. But just by carrying it around and paying attention to when the hard safety flips on, I'll always get a heads up when the police have entered the vicinity.
That's fun. I'd been wondering all along.
Because again, my thought at the beginning was, oh, she's doing it just to show off now, right? But no, just to know when the police are. She has Reyes in her phone as chuckles. Hi, Detective Reyes. It's Morgan. Haven't got your contact info when you got me cleared for the crime scenes yesterday.
Delete contact, block this contact, stop voice to text. How to stop voice to text.
Just wanted to check in.
Report this contact, voice to text disable.
And advise you that Noble's scared shitless of you and stomping in and nationalizing the place. So they might be a little uncooperative when it comes to fetching documents.
Block this contact. What makes you think we were at Noble?
My bad, then. Forget I said anything. And whatever you do, don't start your investigation with their stock buyback program.
Trying reverse psychology. It only works if I care what you think. Stop voice to text. I love that Reyes capitalizes every word.
Well, because it was voice to text, right? But that does seem like Reyes would capitalize every word. Also, we're getting caught in the elevator now. About time. I thought I'd have to ride the elevator for the next half hour. Wait, was she just going up and down, waiting for someone to finally notice her?
Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors.
She just sitting there, hitting all the... Deja vu.
Might you have a moment to speak in private?
Always, but who's asking?
The board.
What are the chances? I've been wanting to speak to them too.
What kind of board do you think it'll be? Oak? Pine?
Surf.
What? Oh, okay.
Surfboard.
Yeah. Surfboard.
Conference room 108A.
Evangeline Morgan.
Hey, girl, hey. Helen Young.
Thank you for making time in your schedule.
Her posture, her tone, the fold of her clothes, professional dialed up to 11. Corporate armor, a full set, her guard is up. Just Morgan is fine.
You're just a few minutes early, Morgan.
Typical corporate never be the first one to show up. Pissing contest nonsense. Doesn't even make sense. They called me in here. How could I possibly be early? Oh God, I want to flip the script on them right now.
Yeah?
This is all about power. Like,
Yeah?
the bit they're doing is all about power positioning, and we know Young plays it.
Yeah?
So I think using our autism armor to purposely ignore social cues that we know are there is... Oh, that's embarrassing. I didn't mean to catch you all off guard. I'll go wait outside in that case. You can all collect yourselves. Surprised that Noble Electronics could screw up something as simple as a meeting start time. But I'm not well versed in the art of staring at emails.
You've made your point, counselor. Don't push your luck. Not with these people.
Might I dare to ask who these people are?
You don't have time to remember their names, and it won't do you much good either.
Right, so they're not just rich, they're anonymous rich.
The Mob Act guarantees a minimum level of security and peace of mind for any citizen who might be targeted due to their financial status.
What the fuck, really? Wait, what? Why Flashfab?
Protection of Reasonable Anonymity Act. The Protection of Reasonable Anonymity Act is a law passed in 2059 and amended in 2061, intended to protect the safety of individuals with income above the 99th percentile of the nation. Labeled in the press as the Mob Act for its supposed goal of hindering mob justice, the PRAA establishes procedures and funding for technology that helps individuals within that particular tax bracket keep their name, face, and address off the main net, ensuring that they and their families are not prejudiced against just because of their financial status.
Oh, so if you have enough money, the government will work to ensure systematically you can't be prejudiced against. Got it.
Economic uncertainty and civil unrest in the late 2050s led to a series of highly publicized crimes wherein corporate executives at a number of high-profile companies were stalked, harassed, and assaulted in net-organized flash lynchings. After a particularly chaotic attack that resulted in the hospitalization of a 14-year-old, the PRAA was proposed, debated, and signed into law in just under 11 hours. A flash lynching case has not gone to trial since 2062, but the PRAA continues to protect citizens to this day. Some economists have pointed to the PRAA and its promise of anonymity as to why the nation has enjoyed a relative resurgence in corporate immigration over the last few decades. But the purposefully obscured nature of the law's implementation have made the task of weighing its true economic impact effectively impossible.
Oh, good. So this is the timeline where we don't know who Peter Thiel is, huh? Spoken like a true believer. Except Mob Act is what normal people call it. Touting the party line, but allowing yourself one instance of rebellion. Or was that just a slip of the tongue? I would never fault anyone for wanting their privacy, especially not job creators. But it must get pretty inconvenient not having a name to call them.
Not really. Conversations with them are always one-sided.
Sounds like a great environment to do business in.
Look at the building we're standing in. We managed to eke out a meager profit somehow. So if it works.
Didn't take you for the might makes right type.
And I didn't take you for a clueless boor incapable of reading the room.
See, but there's a difference between incapable of reading the room and
deliberately
purposely refusing to
refusing.
read the room in order to get other people to admit things they wouldn't otherwise. Sorry, did I say something off color? I was only being casual since it's just the two of us in here. Maybe we should take advantage of this rare bit of privacy and clear the air.
You're here to ask about Sarah, yes? As I said before, I had no idea that Dr. Ashore had been building an android on his private property. And I can say here and now that no one at Noble Electronics ever suspected that he was working to undermine the Tenet framework.
She's trying to sound candid in her tone, but she's choosing her words with the surgeon's scalpel. Was she coached? Is that the truth? Or is that your statement as VP of Android Futures?
It's both, of course. Dr. Ashore was always more than happy to hold himself up and work independently. We both know that.
True. He could be pretty reclusive. Sure caused all kind of headaches, him disappearing on you all like that. Must have been especially difficult when he came back with breakthroughs that propelled Noble to the top of the industry.
You should take a seat.
Uh-huh.
If that's everyone, shall we begin?
Friendly bunch. Is there a problem with the sound? Anyone get muted by accident?
No.
It's the fucking Evangelion obelisks.
It's the
for the board.
Evangelion obelisks!
It's the,
Oh my fucking
I
god.
can't believe Noble Electronics is run by Sayla.
Okay, thanks for having me. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm actually a bit flustered having you all show up here. I didn't expect to talk to anyone higher up than a service associate.
You're investigating the death of Dr. David Ashore. Why wouldn't we take that seriously?
Because you want me to go away. At least half of you do. The others aren't sure yet.
You must be confused. The board is, as always, united in its decisions and its visions for the direction of this company.
Uh-huh. A board of directors is just 13 roulette-rolling psychopaths who get together and vote on whether or not to execute their CEO every 6 months. None of them would be where they are if they were anything else. But I happen to know how that kind of person thinks. The way I see it, there are 2 possible outcomes. Option 1 is, you oppose me. Shut me out completely, stonewall me, stall me, and wait for me to walk into trial so unprepared and ill-informed that I inevitably lose. Obviously, I don't like this option, but you can't be big fans of it either. If I lose, the world will learn that David Ashore was killed by an android he programmed. And then every customer you've ever had, and every lawyer they've ever seen on TV, and every firebrand-strapping young 60-year-old junior senator looking to make a name for themselves. That's a great thing right there.
Yeah.
Will use your company balance sheet as their personal chew toy.
The company is more than capable of.
After which, the state still might just gobble you whole and throw enough sanctions to deperson whomever among you cries, "No fair."
The company and its allies at the capital can more than fend for themselves.
Yes, probably. But not definitely. Which makes it a gamble. Still my turn to talk? Then on to option 2. You cooperate with me. I use what you give me, or forge for me, to win at trial, proving that David wasn't killed by an android. When the markets open tomorrow morning, you all get another round of stock buybacks in on the initial dip. Then pat yourselves on the back for staying calm as you continue to profit off of David's legacy for the next 100 years. And you won't even have to worry about him speaking out of turn.
That's only if you win. If the company cooperates with you, denies that David was killed by, and then the state beats you anyway, it would be catastrophic.
Yeah, it's a gamble. But if at least some of your board wasn't considering taking it, I wouldn't be here. We're all busy people, and I'd hate to drive a wedge between such a close-knit group of friends, so how about this? Option 3, hedge your bets.
What?
Put a little on black, a little on red, spread the love, and lower your risk profile. Don't make any statements about the trial. Tell the media the state's got your windpipe and a vice. Wait until just before the markets open Monday morning to send out your PR packages for rubber stamping, after you already know who's won. One way or another, this trial will be over before the end of the day, and you'll never hear from me again. So just don't shut me out completely for another few hours.
And does anyone second that motion? Very well. We can answer some of your questions, Counselor.
Better make them count then. No reason to be shy now. The poison that killed David Ashore has been identified as synatonin. You're familiar.
It's one of our many patented materials, as I recall.
You recalled it pretty easily yesterday. Gee, what has changed?
But intellectual property law can be very complex, Counselor. I'm not sure how much I or anyone at the company could tell you about synatonin at this time.
Well, if you can't tell me about it, who could? You did lead its development, didn't you?
Yes, I oversaw the project, which makes it that much harder to speak freely without compromising the confidentiality of the teams that reported to me.
I understand. That sounds like bullshit, and I don't believe it. But I'm not asking for trade secrets here. It's a perfect match for the only foreign substance found in his blood. Synatonin is what killed him. The state will say the same.
That's not possible.
Do you care to elaborate?
I'm sorry, but I can't say any more at this time.
So much for cooperating. And if I were to ask you as an officer of the court?
Then I would ask you to be patient and wait until this afternoon. ADA Rockford has already called me to testify.
Already? Damn it, I got cocky because of the cop's late arrival. Emma must have gone straight for the throat first thing this morning and left the investigating for later. Hell, knowing her, she probably managed to ID the serotonin before she went to bed last night. So are we still having this conversation then?
As I said, I'm sorry, but I have to take more than just my personal feelings into consideration here. There's a great deal at stake.
Corporate speak for, you're too stupid to understand why I'm being dense. She's just trying to shield the company, plain and simple. LARPing as Helen Young d'Arc on a crusade against government overreach. But if she's that busy defending Noble, she might be leaving herself unguarded. Why is she here anyway? Why am I speaking to her and not her lawyers? Oh, that's right. This is a vulnerable position for her. She wouldn't put herself in check like this, not unless she was forced to. So that's it. Acting as their mouthpiece isn't some honor for her. This is a punishment. She's being used as a meat shield. They're upset with her, perhaps even suspicious of her. Time to find out why. Because she both is the one who helped develop the drug and was found and was hanging out with David the night before he died.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Interesting.
It's not immediately obvious to me what to ask.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get knocked real hard for any of these ones. These all feel like maybe jealousy. Jealousy
yeah, let's
feels
not
like
ask about jealousy. That's too direct.
Has David's will been located?
It had never gone anywhere. It's still in a safety deposit box. We'll retrieve it and have it read once all the unknowns surrounding his death have been made into knowns.
So David's will hasn't even become a part of this equation yet. It might not be for weeks at this rate. Is that calculated, though? We don't have to push this right now. Let's stay for now. Whatever else the court ends up labeling her, Sarah is a remarkably lifelike android. How things worked out differently, you might have wanted her as the A16 poster girl. Or A17. Or even 18. Could have driven a lot of sales, her cute little pout projected across sides of skyscrapers.
A hypothetical of a hypothetical, as has been made tragically obvious to all of us. That android is nothing like the A16. That it may yet be associated with our products going forward is nothing more than a massive liability.
Yet you wouldn't have the A16 without her. And if they could take her apart and learn from her, they could have the world. So what was the motive to try and pry Sarah away from him?
Interesting.
Sarah's worth a lot of money, in part because her creator isn't around to replicate her. We're all hoping to take her by force and reverse engineer her once David was out of the way.
Don't be absurd. That machine is nothing but lawsuits and congressional hearings and PR nightmares waiting to happen. The company doesn't need her, no matter how advanced she is. We only need steady growth and increased market share.
Trying to steal away Sarah with brute, bloody force does seem absurd when she puts it that way. So we were on the will track here, right? Let's try pressing.
Yeah, let's try pressing.
Aren't you dragging your feet a little bit? Afraid there's something in that will you'd rather not have see the light of day?
We are not jealous in-laws who've been bribing the county sheriff, counselor.
Okay, I was right about that one.
Anything we'd try to claim would inevitably be overturned as soon as the will is read. Surely you understand that, counselor.
Of course.
Wait.
Oh. We can go through again without having to press, but...
Okay, right.
Oh, right. Okay. I accidentally clicked on the Sarah thing afterwards. Got it.
Well, let's stay. We've already pressed. Okay, so I guess it's the jealousy track.
I have to admit, I'm surprised you aren't more shaken up today, Miss Young. Which is weird. That's the one I thought for sure it wouldn't be.
I'm processing.
After all, you and David did have a history. You started at the same time, didn't you?
Yes, we were colleagues and cordial with one another.
Ha ha ha! No, you were just colleagues. Don't be so modest. You helped him create the one-point doctrine that saved the company.
That is a gross exaggeration. Noble is far too large an organization to be affected by the contributions of any single individual.
Suppose you're right. No one person could change Noble's fortunes overnight. Except for David Ashore, of course. But he was a once-in-a-generation talent. The guy Noble chose for the advertisements and the one that commissioned editorials about. Sorry, you're right. I shouldn't have equated the two of you. I just hope his one-point doctrine doesn't fall out of favor now that he's gone.
Yes, well, we certainly wouldn't want that.
Well, she didn't exactly explode with rage, but she definitely reacted. There's real jealousy there. Whether it boiled over, though.
David and Noble.
I didn't mean to pry about your relationship with David or lack thereof. Suppose I'm just curious about his standing inside Noble as a whole.
David Assure was, and always will be, an astounding contributor to the company's forward progress. Nothing will ever change that.
Not even if he was killed by one of his own creations?
That would, of course, be a tragic element that would call for reconsideration of his legacy.
She was almost off guard there, like she was surprised for me to be asking about Sarah ruining his reputation. Besides Sarah, David's reputation was crystal clean. He never went against the company once. Did he?
That's...
Unless I'm mistaken, and he and Noble were on bad terms. In that case, I might get the impression that some parts of leadership were actually glad to see him taken off the chessboard.
That is not...
Something buzzing in your ear?
Fine, I suppose it makes no difference if you hear it now, or at the trial, or on your feed tomorrow. Dr. David Assure was being sued by the company for breach of contract. Satisfied?
Now we're talking. Well, then I suppose that's... a blackjack. So you couldn't have mentioned this breach of contract earlier?
Not without complicating the company's position unnecessarily, no. But there's no hiding it at this point. It'll all come out soon enough.
I see. Is there a paper trail?
Much more than that. We'd been making moves to let him go for some time.
Noble Electronics parting ways with the David Ashore. Must have been one hell of a breach of contract. What did he do?
He betrayed the confidence of the board.
Was he contesting the suit, putting up a fight? Engaging in a legal battle against a mega corporation? Without even talking to me?
Until recently, yes.
You mean until he died? How recently?
We spoke on Friday.
That was what you two talked about in his parlor?
No, this was earlier in the day. We were in this room, actually. Him, me, and several members of our legal department. It was an arbitration.
And did you come to an agreement?
A compromise. He would resign from his position in 2 quarters, foregoing royalties on any products we would develop after the next 24 months. In exchange, he wouldn't be publicly fired, and he would still be credited on all past, present, and future filings.
How very reasonable. On paper, maybe. No matter what the deal was, letting go of David R. Ashore is insanity.
Reasonable, yes. We ended on a good note, I'd like to think. We shook hands, even took a photo.
That's David taking a photo, all right. Yeah, that looks, lovely. Something funny? Didn't know the board told jokes.
They don't. That was legal, expressing their displeasure with how much paperwork my good note ending left them stuck with. Children, it was just one night of overtime.
So while they were spending their Friday night blowing the ink dry, you paid a visit to David's penthouse. Something left unfinished.
Professionally, it was a good meeting. There was no yelling, no finger pointing. Much cleaner than expected. But Dr. Ashore did not want to retire.
All right, let's learn about this.
David Assure met with Helen Young and a team of Noble lawyers to set the terms of his resignation the afternoon before he died. Young set up the meeting and controlled every aspect from the refreshments to the timing in line with co-workers' descriptions of her detail-oriented personality.
I see.
He didn't want to be forced out of the company when he was the one who... when he had contributed so much. I didn't enjoy doing that to him, so I came over that night to apologize to him. We talked, reminisced. When he brought out the drinks, I thought we'd be toasting to a new day. A few minutes later, he was dead. Because of that AI.
That AI. Any idea how it came to be?
As I said, I had no idea he was working on it.
My question was more broad than that. If you really believe David built an AI, how do you think he did it? How does Noble Electronics think he managed to work around the tenets?
It's quite beyond my area of expertise. And no one at the company could call themselves an expert in illegal technology. But some in the R&D department have theorized that he created what they call a wax-wane decaying priority loop, which, as I understand, is an unstable, resource-intensive theoretical method for pseudo-randomizing the weight amongst preset tenets.
Well, about as far off target as it gets with that guess.
But that kind of inelegant brute force nonsense seems a far cry from the kind of thing David would create, and I seem to have taken us over our allotted time slot.
But I didn't even get to wave goodbye.
You're serious about this trial?
Don't I look it?
You're not just making a play. You're actually going to defend that thing?
I'm just defending myself, Miss Young.
Oh yes, of course you are. My mistake.
Hoped you might be rooting for me to tell you the truth. I may yet save everyone's stock options.
The stock options will be alright either way. They always are.
That gamble I offered your board, which outcome would you bet on?
Finally, an easy question. What I would bet is that whatever the outcome, the company will eat it up and shit it out with very little difficulty. You painted an ugly picture back there, but I've already seen the future. And it's just another marketing gimmick. The great Dr. Ashur, too smart, too bold, too far ahead of his time. What spark of his genius remains buried in the inspired Animate 19?
I guess that depends on...
You were exactly right. He is more valuable to Noble as a dead man. Dead men can't step out of line, or put their foot in their mouth, or hold politically inconvenient opinions. To a good salesperson, a dead man is just another selling point. Pardon my outburst. I'm just tired. It's been a very long week for me.
I'll let you prepare for your afternoon then, Dr. Young.
No one calls me doctor. I ask them not to.
You didn't want the title?
At times I have thought very little of it. The PhD I earned from a Noble-owned school.
Biochemistry. It couldn't have been a large department at Noble before they started work on warm androids in earnest. They probably didn't have many expectations for the program back when she was a part of it.
But I was proud of it when I first got it.
Something changed?
It never seemed to catch on. People didn't use it, so eventually I told people not to use it. A very high IQ social power play, you understand?
David never insisted that people use it either.
That's very different, and I think you know it. David Ashur didn't have to.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going into this trial, my trial, with a lot less ammunition than I'd like. Beginning to form a picture of what actually happened, maybe even circling the drain on a suspect, but Emma won't be generous enough to give me breathing room. She'll want to end this fast. Maybe if I do badly enough, it'll flip her sadistic switch and she'll want to keep playing. Is that my phone?
So you got charged with owning an AI.
Hey, Aunt.
First time you do something exciting in your whole life. And I gotta find out through the fucking grapevine.
My life is plenty exciting.
Freckles. You could bore the polish off a resume checking robot. I've fucked Catholic school teachers with more active night lives than you.
I didn't need to know any of that, actually. Okay.
So who'd you rope in? Anyone I know? Oh shit. Are you representing yourself?
Fits within my budget.
Screw your budget, you're going to jail.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
It ain't a matter of how good a lawyer you are. Anyone who represents themselves in court has a fool for counsel.
You've represented yourself countless times.
Not for anything I had a chance of losing. Your pal hasn't even been dead 48 hours. You're too close to this. You'll make mistakes.
The powers that be really didn't want to give me a brain check. They're taking this very seriously.
It's more dangerous than that. They're scared.
Scared? Is there precedent? An ad committing murder?
How'd you pass law school without learning how to look this stuff up?
I know what the net says. I'm asking you. Good point.
The answer to that is
Yes?
not helpful to you at the moment.
So what words of advice do you have?
Get yourself a new lawyer.
Gonna close this chat now.
Don't lose, Freckles.
Thanks, Aunt. You don't need to tell me that. I think my hands are going numb. I can't feel if I don't know what position they left them in. If I'm accidentally making the bird in there, is that gonna get me? Are they gonna make me do extra time for that? What are you reading, Adonai? I was reading David's employment contract with Noble Electronics before I got waylaid by spam texts. Oh, the one we found inside the panic room. Looks quite extensive. Should I skim it for you? Depends. Did you pass the bar exam since we last spoke? Are you comfortable? I am not. Ever seen that old movie with the gorilla and the skyscraper? They bring it to the city and... I understand the analogy, Adonai. I wish I could call it overkill. But considering the specs Sarah put up yesterday, maybe those bindings aren't heavy enough. Come to think of it, those numbers must have been faked along with the rest of what the machine read. If that was all a smokescreen David added to help her lay low, then her actual strength is more like... Oh, Sarah's going along with this. Oh, I don't know why it took me that long to put that together. If your joints weren't currently locked up tighter than a vise, do you think you could escape this place? I hope that question is not indicative of your strategy. This is me trying to distract you, Sarah. Enjoy the hypothetical. I would estimate the building's automated security would put 9 holes in me before I reach that door. 9's not so bad. I would not be able to function after the 7th. Well, if you haven't been planning some great escape. I would not do that. That would be illegal. And you would still be on trial. I remember. So what have you been doing all day then? I'm attempting to recover memories from Friday. You can do that? It is not dissimilar to the process of recovering data erased from any other computer. Despite the difference in, scale. I won't be able to remember everything, but if successful, I could recall individual pieces of information that could prove useful. That's a lot of, coulds. And even if you're successful, you may not like what you find. Whatever happened that day, either you or David wanted you to forget it. Yeah. But even so, I have to remember. Because it's the last day that Father and I... Any luck so far, then? I can recall a slightly musty scent. Wow! Case closed. What about you, Adonai? Have you formulated a plan for the trial's proceedings? Something like that. You ever play those old lawyer sim games? I'm borrowing a strategy from one of those. Bullshit until they fuck up. Young insists that serotonin isn't what killed David. That's true, she did say that.
Yeah.
So then what's her alternative?
Indeed.
She said she's going to explain that at trial today. But if that's the case, then isn't the whole thing about setting Sarah up as the one who murdered him bunk? Because what's the argument? That she put serotonin in the cup and the serotonin didn't kill David? What? I don't buy it. There's no other explanation for how he died. So is she lying then? And if she repeats that lie on the stand, I'll need to expose it. Somehow. Would she really commit perjury to protect Noble? To protect one of Noble's patents? She doesn't strike me as quite the corporate zealot she makes herself out to be. But you believe that she had something to do with Father's death? Well, what do you think? I'm not in the process of giving my opinions on matters.
Well, I don't know. I don't know why anyone would kill father.
Considering the possible consequences of what he confessed to in his journal, I can think of.
But then again, I don't understand why anyone would kill anyone. Do you?
Bells tolling for thee means that the doors to the courtroom are unlocked. Oh wait, also, if Sarah is an AI, an actual AI, and they somehow managed to get through this trial without revealing that, that means she's effectively a criminal as well. So Morgan can basically tell her what she's done, and Sarah can't do shit about it because that means revealing that she's an AI. Oh, that's how they do this.
I'm about to become an unwitting accomplice to murder.
Means the doors to the courtroom are unlocked. Let's, wait, can you walk like that? How did you even get here?
Oh, they took me on like an L cart.
Yeah, I'm imagining they're just wheeling her around on a pallet.
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Waddle will have to do. Wait a second, across the hall, that's... Keep waddling, Sarah. I'll catch up.
As you say, Adonai.
Wearing a groove into the floor. This will be a coin toss.
You that surprised to see me?
I'm not surprised you want to see the outcome of the trial. I am surprised you'd want to talk to me.
You're defending the android, right?
He didn't appreciate last time we were trying to be clever.
Yeah, he didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I am. I'm defending Sarah's innocence. I don't think she killed David. Do you?
I don't think it matters. Noble is what killed David. Whether it was with a pen stroke or a sleeper agent killer android or plain old goddamn arsenic, they... How could anyone that smart be that dumb? Why the hell did he ever sign his soul over to them?
David may have been in over his head, but he wasn't a bad negotiator. I've read his contract. His position was strong.
You're the lawyer, but a guy like me working in music? Can't tell you how many people I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. No such thing as corporate generosity. If you think you're getting a good deal, it's only because you don't know how much you just sold.
How much you just sold? David's real wealth lay in his intellectual property, the potential energy of it hanging over the whole industry. If he sued even 1% of the companies taking inspiration from his Turing solution. There is a clause in his contract. If Noble ever did fire David, he would have retained the control over all his patents afterwards.
Yeah, see, that sounds nice, only they never did fire him, did they? He just happens to die.
An unforeseeable act of God. In contract law, they call that force majeure. Now, here's one thing that's been set up earlier we haven't seen come back yet. How does the Heartbreaker as a anti-Noble figurehead come back into play in all this?
I don't know.
Right? That was set up pretty heavily in like the first couple sods and then just hasn't been a recurring theme at all.
What if that ends up having to be Morgan's line, pinning this on the Heartbreaker?
Oh!
Can't get enough evidence together to pin it on Noble, but can get enough to pin it on some other third party.
Oh, wow.
I said, did you find anything interesting in the contract, Adonai?
Oh, huh? A few things, yeah. Basically, David was well taken care of so long as they kept him around. And he'd retain control of his patents even after being let go. But what Porter said... Logically, if David were to pass while still employed, Noble would continue to control the bulk of his IP. So if they knew David was going to leave in a year...
It would be very foolish of them to let father go.
Well, they wouldn't let it do it for no reason now, would they? With his contract, he could only be fired for serious offenses. Corporate malfeasance, revealing trade secrets, fraud.
Father was not a fraud. He was, as they say, the greatest of all time.
Fraud just means lying to the company about something, Sarah.
A binder containing the full text of David Assure's employment contract with Noble Electronics details the terms of his employment, including the following. David would keep ownership of his patents if terminated. David couldn't be terminated without serious cause. Serious cause only includes fraud or worse. Fraud defined as manipulating company data, not a light read.
Manipulating company data. We've seen company data be manipulated, huh?
Oh,
Eyes up. It's showtime.
Counselor Morgan,
Hello.
the state charges you with possession of contraband
contraband.
That would be you, Spearmint.
in violation of the Safeguarding Our National Digital Security Act.
Sansa?
How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Very well, since it seems that we are in fact doing this. I'll now turn over the administration of this trial to the adjutant, but be warned, any attempts at stalling or muddling the issue, and I'll step right in and override the trial myself. Summary judgment siding with the people. Are we understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are we going to have the same adjutant as we had before?
No way. Each courthouse only has so many bodies, but the personalities swap around all the time. So the chances of us dealing with the same glitchy mess as yesterday are...
Glad to be back. Did y'all miss me?
Why do I say things aloud?
Adonai, I think that might be transition goals. I want to be 9 feet tall and stacked.
Forget I said anything. I'll just go crawl under a rock and die while you make your opening statements. The defendant is the owner of the android registered under the model name Sarah, with license number 12029280. She hasn't contested this, and I doubt she will. So the question of ownership is already answered. All that remains is to determine whether Sarah qualifies as contraband. It's a charming android, incredibly well made, a masterpiece, and the last known work of a great man.
Why do I feel bad that she's flattering me?
But when we look at the evidence and the facts surrounding the death of Dr. Assure, we're forced to conclude that said android is responsible for his death. And that conclusion carries very serious implications. I will prove here in court today that the machine standing there killed David Assure, not through an accident or a mismanaged dosage, but through an intentional poisoning. I won't ask the court to judge this machine on its apparent sentience, its range of emotions, or the free will it may or may not possess. I only ask that the court judge this creation on what we will prove it to be more than capable of: patricide.
Even patricide is kind of unfitting, right? Unless you are anthropomorphizing Sarah some,
Yeah.
right?
Woof wouldn't want to have to follow that act. But go for it anyway, defense.
Your Honor, what the DA said is true.
All right, case closed.
Well, what did you just say? Did you just admit it?
Sorry, just the first part. This android is charming, and it is the work of a great man.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
The rest of it was pure speculation, based on little more than a few bad camera angles and a phobia of anything new. I do own the android you see here. It was bequeathed to me by a man known to most of the people in this courtroom as the father of modern machine intelligence. To me, he was just my friend. And if I thought at any point that this puppet had anything to do with his death, I would have dragged it to the chopping block myself.
Oh,
But I don't believe that. I never have. Sarah is an android. Nothing more. It isn't capable of homicide, and it didn't even commit manslaughter. It is just a well-made machine. Any fears one has about its capabilities are projections and nothing more. And it troubles me greatly that the state is spending valuable time and resources on rushing to pulverize Dr. Assure's last known work, when it could be going after the very real, very human forces that were responsible for his death.
Is she serious?
Talking about Noble?
The people can't prove that Sarah is an AI. And truth be told, I can't prove that it isn't. But I can prove that it's not guilty. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Chills.
You sounded very confident, Adonai.
Yeah, well, no one ever got good at lying by being modest.
You could have simply said thank you.
It looks like we're going to have to leave it here for this episode, folks. Hopefully you'll join us. You're still upset there in the background, 80? We'll be back next time to see more of how this courtroom plays out. Starting with Detective London.
Yeah.
Looking very smug and with not shaven and not shaving in the way that tells you he wants you to know he's not shaven. I think that's the important detail about Detective London here. Anyway, bye.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.